Xander, how you doing today?
I'm all right.
Well, welcome to Titan Sea. I appreciate you giving a little bit of your time, and sitting down with us and taking a few questions. So, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you became a Titan?
Well, I'm a 16-year-old boy living my own life. I have a mom, a dad, and another dad, a stepdad. Um, I was looking for a basketball team so that way, whenever I'm in Virginia over the summer with my mother, I can play on a basketball team. And we found the field house, and the Titans were the first team that she wanted me to play for.
Okay, cool. So, being a Titan at the field house, do you think it's different from any other team at the field house?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Sometimes that's a gift and a curse. So I think
Most of the time, yes.
yeah, that's definitely good. You gotta have balance. You gotta have a
It's got ups and downs.
definitely, as life will continue to have. So let me ask you, as one of our more senior players and as an older brother, you're attached with being a role model to many. How do you see yourself this way? Why is it important?
Why is it important to be a role model?
Why is it important? The first question, which would be, how do you see yourself?
Um, I see myself as a person that I always have my head in the game, and like when I'm getting mad and when I'm getting angry, I'm not getting angry about what's going on off the court. I'm getting mad about what's going on in the game, and my mindset will always be towards what I'm doing in the moment.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, how would that translate to being a role model to your siblings?
Well, I mean, my siblings could look up to me and be like, huh, maybe I should stop focusing about what they think and maybe I should worry about what's going on in front of me.
Why is that important?
Because if you're listening to the crowd or if you're listening to what other people have to say, you're worried about what they think, not what you're doing.
Okay. I can see that perspective. I can see that. Now, do most of your siblings have the same feelings?
Most of them do.
Okay.
Yes.
So it seems to work.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You have a unique opportunity to spend time in two very different parts of the country throughout the year. What are the biggest differences between your experiences in sports in Missouri and Virginia? Just those two specific places.
Oh, the biggest differences between those two?
Yes.
Uh,
And be very broad in when I say sports. You could go from just seeing people outside jogging, maybe even in the sports that you do. What have you seen significantly different?
um, Missouri, how the kids on my teams have acted, they play as if they already have a spot and they already have a connection with the coach and they already know what they're going to get. Compared to here, we compete for our spots. We have to fight for what we want.
Definitely.
Compared to there, it's they already know what they're getting because they already talked to the coach before. And then here, it's totally different because you don't know what you're getting. And there, it's like the coach can tell you you're playing this position, and here it's no, we need you here, so you're doing this. It can be completely out of your comfort zone, but you got to get comfortable with it because that's what your team needs. And then if we're going to baseball in Missouri, the kids are, I'm going to say, they rely more on their personal talent. They don't rely on their skills. They rely on what they were given, you know? And then here, every kid I've played with works for it.
Okay, I definitely see that. That's a good perspective. I think that's important for some people to see that because, as you know, some players in Virginia don't necessarily go to Missouri.
No.
So that perspective might be very unique, and I'm pretty sure that they would agree that you have to definitely fight for it. I think any team that's really worth is going to have a lot of competitive blood. You're going to have a lot of players that always want to play. They don't care. They're going to want to do what they want to do. And I think that mindset is very important because at the end, that's who you want fighting with you. You really don't want some people there until it gets uncomfortable. And I definitely see you as someone that definitely fights for it, and you definitely earn your respect amongst those that have played with you and previously have played with you. Because I know first and foremost, when I talk to some coaches that have coached you before amongst the Titan ranks, for example, Troy, oh my goodness, you're one of his favorites, and it's the character that young man has as an adult for him to say that because he knows what 16-year-old boys deal with. He knows it very well. He's not too far removed, and for him to say the things that he has said, that makes me very proud because I've known him so long. So not to get too off topic, but to go into that, as a rising high school junior, what do you know now that you wish you knew when you began high school?
Okay. The knowledge I have now, I wish. I guess I wish I would have known my role more instead of trying to fit in. As of now, compared to freshman year, I was just doing what everybody else was doing. I wasn't doing my own thing. Compared to now, I know my role on the field. I know my role on the court. I know what I'm supposed to do, and I know what my coach puts me in to do. Compared to freshman year, I was just doing what I saw everybody else do, and I was like, I want to do what they're doing, not what I want to do what I want to do.
Interesting. What advice would you give to others just beginning to navigate high school?
Be you. That's all I gotta say.
Well, what are your personal goals for the future?
Personal goals for the future. I don't really have any.
What are you doing to prepare for them? Well, as far as that question, I'll revise it. If you don't really have any personal goals, what are your short-term plans?
Short-term plans. I want to be able to pass high school. I want to get through high school quick and easily, and then I want to go to small local college so that way I can just get the schooling out of the way and move on.
Okay. Why the rush to get out of high school?
High school isn't as fun as everybody says it is.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the sports are awesome. Yeah, you make friends, but it's not that fun because you got to deal with the teachers and you got to deal with the kids, and then it's whenever you friends, girlfriends, homework, sports, it's a cluster. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to put first. And I feel as if whenever I'm out of high school and whenever I'm out of all of this schooling, I'll have my own free time and I can choose what I want to do first instead of having to put what other people want me to put first.
That's interesting. You remind me of myself. I couldn't wait to get out of school. And I was very happy when I got out of high school. I think high school's very difficult, but I will tell you this. I've been to high school. Trust me, I've been there. And I finished it. But the thing that I will tell you is, once you get done with that, then you get this whole new person, whether you want to deal with them or not. And this dude comes after you every year. And every year he comes with new changes. And every year he puts you in new situations. So I will give you some advice. Because once there's a new person, he goes by, or she goes by so many different names. Taxman, Uncle Sam, government. They're real. But I will give you some advice because that's what we're here to do. Prepare for it. Prepare for it. If you really take a second and actually put your hands, next time you're on that baseball field, put your hands in that dirt and grab it. Then once you leave that field, grab some dirt and grab it. That second hand of dirt you grab is going to be the realest thing you've touched after that game. And this world is very much like that baseball field when you come off of it. When you get out of high school, you're out there, and you've got all this stuff that's new, you know, stuff that I'm finding out every year. I'm still finding stuff out. I do believe you will get to the point when you will get everything, but it's going to take you a minute. And you're going to have to be very, very strategic. You're going to have to think 8 years in advance, because the things that are going to come at you now are going to affect you for the next 8 or 10 years. Whether that be credit, new girlfriends, you know. You ever think when you leave Missouri, you come to Virginia, that's a whole different place. You got to imagine when you get a certain age, you're in a new, whole new atmosphere. And you got to prepare for it. And if you're not prepared, I'd hate to see someone of your ability, not athletic, just ability, because you are patient. And you don't want to lose your patience contesting a lot of things that you should prepare for now. You know, because that's what the preparation's for. That's why high school is like, man, I can't wait to get out. Because you're one leg in, you're one leg out. And that one leg in always feels good when you can get them both together. You know what I mean? So, and that's going to take you a while. You know, I think you're on the right path. Definitely on the right path. But I definitely will suggest, I tell everybody that. Anybody that knows me, that rides with me, going to know that you got to prepare ahead of time, or else that battle, man, I never like a battle and you're just like, we're battling now? I definitely think something prepared where you can just sit there and be like, and you can just breathe, and you've got all these trap doors set up, and I think that you're set up to do stuff like that. But what or who has been a powerful influence in your life and your goals and your goal settings? Now, the goal setting part, you getting out of school, I would think that's definitely a goal setting, but who would be your biggest influence?
My biggest influencer? My mom.
In what ways?
She puts up with 4 kids, all these animals and dogs, and everything she puts up with, she still finds a way. I mean, she has 4 kids she has 3 kids that do sports, and she's got to run them all over the place. You got me, my sister, and you got the other 2, which want to go to friends' houses and want to play games and want to go out and do stuff, and she still finds room to make them happy while making herself happy.
That's definitely that's an ability. That's definitely something that she had to go through some life to get, and that's something she'll never lose. And I think that for you to notice that is huge, but will it be even greater and more satisfying to her? The biggest thing you can give her is you have to embody those abilities. That's the truest. You see, I'm good. I'm telling you the truth. When you can embody them and they can see you do the things that they do without being told, I'm telling you, it's magic. When do you feel a teenager becomes an adult?
I feel when a teenager becomes an adult, as soon as the teenager realizes what real life is and they have to do it on their own. The moment you have to wake up in the morning and take yourself somewhere, or you have to cook for yourself, or you have to clothe yourself, and you got to pay for yourself, that's when I think a teenager becomes an adult, when you're doing it all on your own.
Okay, sounds reasonable. What qualities do you have that set you apart from others with the same goals? Now, this sounds like a question from Missouri.
Yeah.
What do you have that can set you apart from people who may feel like they're in the same box as you?
I don't know how to answer that question.
We can come back to it. I mean, it would be something I would tell you to think, so that we can come back to it. I would challenge you to say, what sets you that 1/10 of a second above that other person in that race? You know, both y'all play the same position, perhaps in baseball. Perhaps y'all just running, physical fitness. You guys are just doing something, and you edge that person out that one little bit. Is it luck? Is it because you realize that that person has something that you have a lot more of? You know, is there any quality that you feel like people in your same category, but you just edge them out a little bit? So look, I'll come back to that. Let that sit for a minute. Think of something difficult you have been through, sports or non-sports related. Tell us about it, and what did you learn from it?
Well, I've been through multiple hard scenarios growing up in Missouri with the whole situation with my father. And then if we're coming back to sports about it, I'm shorter. I don't jump as high as everybody else. So I had to work around what I'm not so good at, because being 5'7" compared to the 6-footers, you're automatically going to look for the height.
Yeah.
Right? But then if we're coming to reality, growing up with my dad, he never really put me first. He always put himself first and what he wanted. He would never take me to those camps. He would never take me to what I needed when he knows what I needed. He would rather put himself over me. And I had to live with that for 16 years.
That's definitely tough. And, you know, I'm going to tell you, you're going to need to get whatever abilities you can gain from that so that you can use them. You know, that way you can have that going forward, because, like I said earlier, preparation, you know, you need to be prepared for the things that are going to happen coming forward. What are 3 things in your life you are most grateful for, and why?
My family, my dog, and the love. Like, just everyone. No matter, I've noticed wherever I go that someone's got a love for me. So, it's like, it's not as bad as everyone says. Everyone's like, oh, they hate me, or oh, they don't like me. It's, you know, no matter where you go, there will always be that one person that's like, hey, there's X. I like that kid.
Yeah. So, what type of dog you got?
Pitbull Quinta. I know it's a pitbull, and she's fat. I can tell you that.
All right, let's come back to that question real quick about the qualities that set you apart from someone else in the same little box. So, you know, it could be something simple. It doesn't have to be anything hard, because simple to you is something different than someone else.
Yeah.
So what quality do you think you have that sets you apart from someone else?
Well, now that when you reworded it, I realized, I guess it's, I grew up with, I never grew up with someone I can go to. I never grew up with someone who would help me. All these other kids, they have their supportive dads and whatnot, and I was out there, and the baseball field or the basketball court or the football field, that was my getaway. I wanted it. I was there I was playing the sport, I was doing me, and it got me away from what I didn't really want to be in. While everyone else, like, I'm walking home, their dads were picking them up, hey, good game. And it made me want it even more. Because I don't like saying it, but I'm petty. I'm really petty. And it made me jealous that I got to see them go home happy. And it made me jealous knowing that they played over me. And it made me jealous of all those things. So I went out and I was like, I got to take your position.
That's a good mindset. You got to keep that too. You know, like I said, you know, the things that you went through, you got to use that. You can't lose touch of that. You know, I'll definitely remind you, because you're gaining things. And some of the things that are hardships, you know, they are hardships. And you know, for some reason, some people get these things over others. Some people get them in the weirdest ways. You know, I think about myself growing up. My parents were older. You know, I got a weirder situation, and it wasn't weird meaning bad. It was awesome, because they had that old mindset.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't have the young one. You know, my dad, I was 11, 12. That was about slow down on hanging out and playing ball. And I could kind of see it, but I could accept it because I kind of saw their situation. And I think when your parents are a little younger, it's definitely difficult. It's definitely difficult to see it. I know with my oldest son, there's things he'll tell his younger brother, well, with 7 year apart difference, and he'll tell him stuff. He'll be like, man, Dad, he used to tell me this and tell me that, but you should do this and that. It's crazy how perspective is different. I think about how, I had both my parents present, but they honestly didn't go to all the games. Sometimes they didn't even know I was signed up for certain things because coaches would do that. Coaches are definitely going to look out and try to help certain kids play sports. Sometimes if it's in their benefit, they're going to help more than others. And sometimes if it's not, then they just do it because they want to. I know in my case, I definitely want to help every last one, but play. But at the end of the day, I appreciate that perspective because I didn't think that much. Sometimes it's very important for parents just to do those small little encouraging things because parents aren't always going to be here forever.
Yeah.
And it's important to do them when you can do them sometimes because heck, you might not get 2-3 years later. Look at the times we're in now. Things really change very quickly. So let me ask you this: what are you most looking forward to about the end of this pandemic?
The end of this pandemic?
Yes. What are you most looking forward to?
Everything reopening, going and having fun, bowling nights with family. It can be anything. We can go. Well, my family has a ritual. Every Christmas we go and play pool, right? So I'm hoping the pandemic ends before Christmas so that way we can go and play pool, go and bowl, go to water parks, just everything reopening.
Definitely. Well, X, I hope this wasn't too painful. I keep saying abbreviate your name, but Xander, and I definitely appreciate you sitting down, giving me some of your time, and hopefully we can do this again in one way, shape, or form. Thank you for coming out.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.